Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Uncle Mike Speaks podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Mike. Like we always like to say, if this is your first time here, like, share, and subscribe. I hope I did that well. Yes, so today's episode is a bit is one that just came at me and I decided to just talk about it. It's just what I do. Uncle Mike has to speak. So I think this I cannot date a 9 to 5er. So if you don't know what a 9 to 5er means, is people whose jobs require them to wake up in the morning, go out to work, office kind of work, or I don't know what kind of work, maybe factory. You go up. Most for some jobs is even earlier than 9 o'clock, so maybe like 8 o'clock, and you finish at 5, and that's all basically what you do. So this lady comes up with a video and says that she cannot date somebody who does that kind of job, and I began to ask myself, why. So she did a video and she showcased herself on how she would dress if she was going out on a date with a politician or a Yahoo boy. She did that too, and for every variation that she made, she 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 dressed quite well. But when it got to the 9 to 5er, she just wore a wrapper and she ended up doing Sofia Aqua, and it it was so funny. Yes, and I know people will come out and say it was just content, it was just cruise, but I beg to differ. Each passing day now I see how the distance between what is online and reality is becoming so far apart. And if you are not wise in these times, if you are not intelligent, if you are not led properly, you will end up falling into a ditch. And that's just how life is, basically. So the reality is that ladies, when they get to a certain age, end up, I don't want to use the word settling, but that's probably the best analogy. They end up settling, for somebody who probably is a 9 to 5er. And there's nothing wrong with being a 9 to 5er. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just working with the context that I've been fed with. So you see, in their early 20s or late teens, of course, the appeal is, oh, a Yahoo boy, a politician, and it's not because of the job that they do, it's because of the excess money that they can do without, and the aim is just, let's get somebody who has money, so we can enjoy this life and just move on. But the truth is, how many people are going to get that kind of exposure to a politician, for example? Yahoo boys, don't even get me started. um I've come to realize in recent time that most ladies who go out with Yahoo boys don't have the intention of marrying them. It's just for the bills, right? So, but what you see is that the late teens and the early 20s, you know, that appeal is there. But when you get to your late 30s, you start settling for maybe not a 9 to 5er, but somebody who at least has, potential. Well, like I always say, reality always dawn on people, whether you agree with it or not. Reality always dawn on people. I've done 9 to 5 all my life, and who knows what it is. But the truth is, life just happens. Each time I see Bobrisky, right? So I see him post videos. At times, I'm even confused if he's actually a guy. Sometimes he looks like the most beautiful girl that never was. But I always tell myself, Arubu Bobo Yukunita. I don't wish him bad. Please don't get me wrong. But you see that journey he's going on, a point, and maybe not the painful part, but maybe it's painful for me anyway, is that these people now probably get to their 50s, and for some reason, when life starts, they now find God, and they settle with that. Maybe not 50s these days. What cosmetics can do, maybe it's 60s, because you get to an age where your body won't be able to handle those things. I see my parents now, and I can't even imagine how. Maybe not they're not looking frail, but you just know that, man, there's some things that daddy used to do that he can't do no more. And of course, I know that probably one will get to a stage too. Of course, like I play football. It's not how I used to play football in my 20s, late 20s, early 30s, that I'm playing it now. I still love playing football, but I see that you know, there's a sort of decline in quotes. But what makes it special is that even at that old age, the brain still works, and the brain still does a lot of those things. But the body would always have its own limits and its own limitations. So for someone like Bobrisky, he's probably in his maybe 30s, late 30s, I'm not sure. He's enjoying the ride now, and there are a lot of rumors around it, but by the time he clocks 50 or 60, you would see that there would be a decline. And then, like I said, they'll now find God and start preaching. You see it with politicians, right? They do all the nasty things in their young age, steal all the funds available, enjoy life in quotes, and when they get to an old age, they start preaching how they wish they had done things differently. I think you see it. You see it with Babangida. You see it with Obasanjo. They now write a book, detailing and asking people to forgive them because they would have found God. And man, the thing that annoys me, I just say to myself, it's not better I do the right thing now than living a life of regrets in future. And I found myself this week consuming a lot of Dr. Apoki's content, and there's nothing nice. I like the way the man talks. He just seems like somebody who has his values set straight from the beginning, and now it depends on how you look at it, because the online views are different, right from the things that we see in reality. But there's always that thing that you can do. But point being that this lady says she can't date a 9 to 5, so let's focus on the 9 to 5. Or should we start from the politicians? So politics is a very funny game. It's People say it's a dirty game. So would I want to get myself involved with a politician if I were to be a lady? I don't have issues with politicians, right? But yeah, I know you have politicians who have values. I have heard of one or two, but they don't thrive in this part of the world, right? They don't thrive because a lot of things come into play. I listened to Pastor Sibajo speak at Bishop Mike's birthday celebration, and he said quite a lot of things. He said so much truth, and of course, some people came for him. All these things you are saying now. You were vice president for quite a while. Things didn't go too well. Where you were in power, where's the justification? You have this, but it doesn't change the truth. The truth he said was still the truth. I have my own dispositions about everything that he does, but it's still facts. So Nigeria is a very funny place when it comes to politics. Then don't even get me started about the Yahoo boys. So Yahoo is basically fraud. I'm sure we all know. But for some reason, girls want to date these guys because, of course, they drive classic cars. They go out on. They spend a lot of spend a lot on frivolities, but it's fraud because they are stealing from people. Don't even go into how many people have either committed suicide or killed themselves, in Europe and all the likes. But it's funny how a part of us here, still eulogize Hush Puppy. This guy basically stole, right? And he has followers. And all the likes. Anyway, you see how they are glorified, even in your community. And some ladies, to be fair, they want the life, but I'm not sure they really want to spend their lives with those kind of people, but that's for the Yahoo boys. So you see the tech bros, very smart guys. They do a lot of work. It takes a lot of skill. It's not, forget it. Forget that that place is, saturated now. Everybody wants to go into there, but hardworking guys. So I have nothing against that, because she did say she would dress well. But I want you to understand that that video, the aim was just to focus on the supposed money that they make. Right, so it's not about the jobs that they do, but the tech bros, they're doing quite well. It takes a lot of skill. Then I come to the 9 to 5ers. So being one all my life, so the myth around 9 to 5ers is that you believe, or some believe, that all they do, is just that one thing. So thank God for social media. So we can't say social media is all bad. Thank God social media, a lot of people, diversify into different things, do stuff. They still do their 9 to 5 jobs, and their 9 to 5 jobs, legit jobs that pay quite well. So, but like I said, when they get to their 30s, 40s, they'll not start looking for somebody who has a steady income, has good values, and that's just the irony of life. But the 9 to 5 wake up in the morning, of course, you hustle, you go out to your jobs, you do what you do, you come back, you earn a decent wage, right? And it takes somebody who has patience, it takes somebody who understands that life is a cycle to end up with such a person. So if you start avoiding 9 to 5 hours now, you're just doing yourself, and it's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing. So I saw a video of a guy who, proposed to his girlfriend, but the girlfriend, the girlfriend, of course, accepted, but she had an issue with the fact that he refused to kneel. Yeah, too late, and she said, no, you must kneel. Guy says, no, I won't kneel. It doesn't have to be like that. And I asked myself, not to come out and say one person is at fault or not, but marriage takes a lot. Marriage requires that you take a lot of compromises. So I don't want to do this, but I have to do it. Not because I like it, but at least for things to move forward. So the guy goes on to say it's not a big deal. And personally, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a case of he must kneel down. I knelt down, don't get me wrong. I did. Not because my wife, I knelt down because I felt it was something I wanted to do, right? But that's not to say that it should be a norm that you must kneel. Auntie, if I were you, what I would have done is I would take that ring, say yes, because the guy kept on saying, stop embarrassing me. And getting married to somebody means that you have the person's, good intent. Maybe not before yours, but at least you are considering that person's, that person's views on those things, how the person would feel. I take the ring, and when I get to my house, I can put a call across or drop a message and say, see, I did not like the fact that you did not kneel down. That can be settled in-house. And most times, the guy will end up, apologize and say, I'm sorry. If it's really meant to you, it's not, I can now do it. But you have done the first thing right. Then, brother, you too, if you really truly loved this lady, right, and you wanted to do the right thing, you could have at least, because it meant something to her. But I understand that egos were flying up and down, right? And this guy is doing quite well, because a subsequent video shows that he went to collect the car he bought for her. And until he refused to drop the car. I had that kind of little, not argument, but we just discussed. I was like, serves her right. So why can you be crying over? Give him his car if you're not going to get married to him. I was like, she won't look at phone. It's not a gift. It's not a gift, oh. We did this because he did it for you because he wanted to spend his life with you, right? So, and you declined him because of kneeling down, So, brother went, took his car, and I saw another video yesterday where I didn't watch it. I just saw a post, and the caption under was that the lady has gone back to beg. No, because the truth is, you go out there, you have somebody who is, and it's not because of the car he bought for her, but I'm trying to assume that he's a good guy, right? He buys a car for you. He proposes to get married to you. You accept, but the issue you have is that he doesn't kneel. And so you give him his car. So she goes back to beg, but the ego again sets in because the guy said she ended up quarreling with him again when he declined. So it does dawn on me that those two are not ready for marriage. They're not ready for it at all, at all. So, but the point here today is that be very careful what you follow online. Be very, very careful. That post, that video, people can laugh around it, but the reality is that there's nothing wrong with dating a 9 to 5er. There's not, maybe I should scratch that. There's nothing wrong in dating somebody who has, a steady form of, a legit and steady form of income. We should embrace, we should treat people who are visibly Yahoo boys as a plague in the society, but we tend to want to adore them. We tend to want to embrace them, make them head of landlord associations, because you are worshiping. Some people worship the ground they walk in. You admire their life. I don't. I see them a lot here in Ibadan. You see them on the road with their flashy cars, don't sleep at home at night. It doesn't appeal to me, I'm sorry. It doesn't appeal to me, but it is what it is. If you are wise, you know what you pick online, right? You pick the realities online. If you're very, very wise, you intentionally pick the people you listen to, like me, Dr. Apoki, Leke Elder. There are a lot of content out there that makes sense, but this is what it is. Thank you so much, guys, for listening today. Please give me feedback. Then, like they always say, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. God loves you. And let me know what you think. Maybe you think maybe I'm overthinking this thing, but let me know. And thank you very much. Uncle Mike Speaks loves you. And please continue sharing videos to me. Let me give you options. Let me give you my views on those videos or issues around it, like people have been doing. Just send to me. When I get it, I would consume. Then I tell you what I think about it. And of course, we all get to learn. So thank you so much, guys, and have a lovely, lovely day. Bye-bye.